evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is Terrence Bardui. How are you doing today? What we're gonna do is to get it on our WhatsApp so people can tune in. Some people always say, "Oh, you never tell me about it." I'm like, do they tell you when it's time for your this and time for your that? I'm just talking trash. Some people I remind them. Some people they'll tune in if they see fit. So let's get it in. Tuesdays with Terrence. How are you doing on this beautiful Tuesday? Turn this volume down right here. Hope you're doing well. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. Let's copy the link. Let's put it on WhatsApp and let's get the show on the road. How are you beautiful people doing tonight? Is everyone doing well? I'm so excited. I have a great show planned for you tonight. We're going to have a discussion tonight on why you keep your money in the banks. We have some solutions for you tonight, so we'll definitely do that. I'm going to say showtime, and then I'll share it with some people. All right, so as we're doing that, let's get our theme song on cue for tonight, Tuesdays with Terrence. So welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. For those of you who are on there, if you say hello in the chat, I'll be able to give you a shout out. Let's go to Instagram and make it live so people can participate on Instagram as well. We are streaming on Instagram, X, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So sooner or later, we'll get everybody on there. So welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. It's showtime. Let's play our theme song. Let's get it going. Let's get it going. Let's start it over. Start it over. Start it over. Let's start it over. Let's start it over, man. I didn't like the intro. There we go. Woo! Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is Terrence Bardui. Here we go. Boom!
Dominica made me. That's where it all began. Island breeze, coconut trees, the heart of my plan. From the hills and the smiles to the songs of the sea. That island spirit molded the person I'd be. Boston raised me with hustle and grind. City like shining dreams intertwined. In the heart of this town, I found my way. A licensed financial pro, ready for the fray. On those snowy streets, learn to stand tall, navigating life, every rise, every fall. From the commons to the brownstones, I made my claim. With every lesson learned, I embraced my name. Boston raised me with its hustle and grind. City lights shining, dreams intertwined. In the heart of this town, I found my way. A licensed financial pro, ready for the fray. Woo! I like the guitar. Now the South sustains me with its warm embrace. A community of strength and love in every space. From the bayous to the beaches, I found my place. In this journey of finance, I've learned to chase grace. Dominica made me. Boston raised me high. The South sustains my soul as I reach for the sky. With every sunrise, I'm thankful and free. A licensed financial pro, just being one.
Now I'm going to give him my information. I'm telling him I'm actually doing a podcast, but I'm going to give him the information right now. So my information, and you have that. You have my FedEx number. Kim showed that to you. Do you see that, sir, or do you need it? Do you see my FedEx number at all?
FedEx. Let me get FedEx. Because that guy's here.
All right. I'm going to give that to you. What we're going to do is everybody's listening to me live. I'm going to mute my phone.
Yeah, he got everybody listening. So this
no, it's okay. It's okay. We can do that. We'll take a quick break. So there we go. It's actually all right. Let's unmute this. Everybody. Oh, man. All right. For those of you watching my podcast, right, you won't believe what happened. A client of mine actually just called me, right? And I gave them the instructions, but they were calling me. So there's some, I'm doing an in-service rollover. I'm doing a rollover for that client, and the funds. This is classic. That's why I love what I do. I muted you guys for a moment so that I can talk to this and give all my information. So the client has that information. They know what to do with it. It's there. So now my company will receive that on Thursday morning, and I will be compensated for that. So I apologize. I had to do that. So what we're going to do, right? We're going to start over. But this is awesome, man. This is awesome. All right, let's try. Let's get our banner on here. Let's hide the banner and let's show it now. All right, let's hide the banner, hide it. And right now, what we're going to do, we're going to start the show over, because guess what, folks? As an entrepreneur, I'm the CEO, I'm the secretary, I'm the mail guy, I'm the custodian, I'm the chief marketing officer, I am the HR director, I am the director of this podcast, I am the recorder, I am the cameraman, I am executive producer, I am everything, and I love it. So for that, I'm going to take a drink. I have a great show planned for you tonight. While people are starting to come in, we're going to get ready here. Let's play our theme song. We're going to start our theme song over so we can do our podcast. Here we go. Get it on there.
Battery.
Hi. There we go.
Virus alerts camera.
There we go. All right. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is H. Terrence Bardui. Welcome.
Dominica made me. That's where it all began. Island breeze, coconut trees, the heart of my plan. From the hills and the smiles to the songs of the sea, that island spirit molded the person I'd be. Boston raised me with its hustle and grind. City lights shining, dreams intertwined. In the heart of this town, I found my way. A licensed financial pro, ready for the fray. On those snowy streets, learn to stand tall. navigating life, every rise, every fall. From the commons to the brownstones, I made my claim. With every lesson learned, I embraced my name. Boston raised me with its hustle and grind. City lights shining, dreams intertwined. In the heart of this town, I found my way. A licensed financial pro, ready for the fray.
Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. How are you beautiful people doing? I love my job. Woo!
Now the South sustains me with its warm embrace, a community of strength and love in every space. From the bayous to the beaches, I found my place. In this journey of finance, I've learned to chase grace. Dominica made me, Boston raised me high. The South sustains my soul as I reach for the sky. With every sunrise, I'm thankful and free. A licensed financial pro, just being me. So here's to the roots that shaped who I am. From the Minnetonka's beauty of Boston's Grand Slam. In the South I stand strong with purpose and pride. Together with my journey, side by side.
Oh, folks, you all don't understand the life of an entrepreneur. Live on my podcast, a client just called me and I took the call. You know why I took the call? Because I'm doing a rollover of their 401k for them. And although I gave the client the instructions, they were not sure of anything. So what I did, I actually took the call and tell the client, make sure you do this, make sure you do that. They did it and they set it up, and the client will receive it. The company will receive it Thursday, and I get paid next week. Praise the Lord. I love this client because they went to do it for me. You know what I'm saying? I have a FedEx account. They will charge my FedEx account. So for those of you who are trying to say, man, this guy is crazy for doing this, listen to me. I had to do what I have to do, and I love it, by the way. So let's see if there's anybody on Instagram. Mindap12 has joined us. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. Let's see who else is watching. On my comments, I see that Melinda Frazier. I am glad you're on there, Melinda. And also Mr. Alvin Vassar. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence, man. Tonight, it's so funny. There's a client of mine, in Charlotte. Obviously, you don't know who it is. Actually, I just did a rollover of their 401k, and they kept some of it, and I did some of it to protect some of it for them. 49-year-old young lady. She's doing excellent. She's taking all of my advice. I'm so proud of her. And guess what? She was calling me to say, what are the instructions? I'd already texted the instructions on how to mail it at FedEx. So basically, she called me and I interrupted my program to take her call. And I had to mute you guys so that you wouldn't hear her information. You understand? So thank you so much for those who are watching. Melinda, it's good to see you. How's your summer going? I haven't called you in a while to troll on you since your Knicks won. I was so mad, but congratulations to you and your New York Knicks. We'll see how everything's going. Mr. Arvin Vasa, keep looking up, man. I'm still trying to get you all set up and everything that you want to do. So those of you who are watching, I have a great show planned for you tonight. I might even do an illustration. We used to have savings and loans now. So I think all the banks are now commercial banks, and they have credit unions. Where do you save your money? Now, you can tell me nobody can access it. Do you save money in a bank? All right. And if you do, why? Okay. And I'm not here to ostracize anyone tonight. I'm just here to ask some questions. So while I'm gonna send this guy. I'm gonna give this guy an invite to my podcast. As a matter of fact, let's see. I'm gonna give him an invite to my podcast. Hopefully, he will come on board as well and listen. I'm gonna give him a quick. I'm gonna send it to him right now, so he can come on and watch as well. That's one of my newest agents, and even with Melinda, I'm gonna put some of her business out. I think she'd be great at what I do, and I'm gonna try to recruit her as well sooner or later. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year. Oh, my client just sent me the receipt. Thank you. And I'm going to send this to my client and I'm going to say thank you. I'm going to send this to another client in New York that I'm doing some work for. I'm going to send her my my podcast right now. I'm going to send it to a friend of mine in Florida right now because these people they're not religious like you guys. You guys know what time Tuesdays with Terrence is. You know what I'm saying? So right now I'm just sending it to some people. Hopefully they'll tune in. I'm going to send it to one more guy in Boston, and we'll see if he tunes in. All right. So welcome for those of you who are watching. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. I want to ask you, where do you save your money? And do you save money in banks? I'm not going to ask you how much money you have. It's none of my business. I'm not going to ask you what if you have millions or billions or trillions. Melinda says, that's why I love Melinda. She participates on my show. She says, I mainly do Acorns, Betterment accounts, and another online banking for emergency funding to have access to better savings rate. Okay. Okay. I hear you. She says she does Acorns and online. There's a lot of banks. There are online banks that people save with. And the reason why some people do that, they don't have access to it just like that. You know, you can walk into a JP Morgan Chase or Wells Fargo or Santander or the Citibank, but those online banks, you can do a transaction and have the money go into your account. If it's linked to another account, right? You can certainly do that. Now, I've always tell individuals, do not save money in a bank. I've always told individuals that. Do not save your money in a bank. Last night, we had an excellent training. Excellent training last night with one of our teammates, Miss Latoya Jackson from Atlanta. And the strategy and the concept that she was talking about, I've done that for multiple clients. I've done that. Hey, Brandy Hubbard, how you doing, girl? Good to see you. This is one of my colleagues, Brandy Hubbard. She's a superstar. Brandy, I'm going to try to make it to your thing if I'm not out of town because Sandy's birthday, we might be going out of town, but I'm going to try to make it to Chesapeake. But anyways, last night we had an excellent training, and that's the impetus for my show tonight. Why are you saving monies in banks? Now, or online banks. Now, some people don't know any better. I never get mad at my clients who don't know better. Now, I always tell them, I'm proud of you because you've done something. I always try to encourage them and tell them, pat yourself on the back when we get off this appointment because you've done a good job based on what you know. All right? Based on what you know. So I usually tell people, you know what I mean? I usually tell them, it's one of those things where we're going to do what we're going to do. That's how it works. We're going to do it. So I always tell people, check this out. You did the best that you know. I always tell people, my dad, and I say this almost on all my lives, my dad was a saver. My dad, I never asked. It wasn't important to me because he was a great provider. We always had a home and food to eat and clothes and all that stuff. Excellent provider. He, I don't know how high his education was. I don't even think he went to 5th grade or 4th grade. I don't know, but I know he could read and write. My mother as well. I never asked them how high their education was. It wasn't important to me. All I cared about was, did they love me? And if they love me, are they going to feed me and clothe me? And they love me and they feed me and they clothe me. I'm the last boy, not the last child, but the last boy. I'm a little boy, and everybody treats me, even though my younger sister treats me like I'm younger than them, right? So my dad was a saver. He saved in banks. In Dominica, the credit union, or the bank in town, it was Royal Bank. He did that. And when he came to America in 1977, next year would have been like 50 years that he came here. But my dad died 6 years ago. Um, he he had accounts. I remember Boston Savings Bank. He had an account. Boston's 5 cent Savings Bank, which became Citizens Bank. He had an account there, and maybe he had accounts at other places as well. But the man was a saver. That guy would pick up bottles, from people partied. You get a nickel for every bottle. After people partied and different, he would get that and he would put it in the money in the bank. So I don't know how many people pick up bottles, you get a nickel for it. Some people are too prideful, but this guy had an account. I know, because I remember one time I was broke and I was in a hardship and I needed to borrow about almost $2,000. I called him up. There was no Zelle, and even though there was Zelle, he wasn't going to do it. And I flew up to Boston from Virginia, and I asked my father to lend me some money, and he looked at me and he said, "I don't have it." And I'm like, "Ninja, please. I just went to the bank with you to help you renew your U.S. passport. I saw it. That was only one account. You had over $30,000 in that account." But homeboy said, "I don't have it, but I'll give you $200. My father had a rule. His rule was, if you ask him for money, he's not going to lend you any money. You ask him for $100, he don't have it, but I'll give you 20. Now, if you give him the $20 back, if you never give it back to him, he ain't got to worry. It's $20. You never lend what you don't have. So my father was very disciplined. The only thing my father bought on credit, it was a house. When we bought our first house in Boston, I remember. I was 19 at the time, I think, when they bought the house. And I was 13 when we moved. We lived in apartments and stuff. And the guy always paid his bills. Very disciplined. I'll tell you, that part of my dad I did not take. I took his big mouth. I took his looks. I took his charm. I took his handsomeness. But I didn't take that part, because when I was younger, I used to make a lot of mistakes with my finances. I remember when I was 19 or 20, I got an American Express card. I abused that bad boy. I had a girlfriend at the time. I was just going to places like Jordan Marshall's, Macy's, just buying crap. I was stupid. I mismanaged that. I remember my dad gave me a credit card, a mobile credit card when I was 19. I mismanaged that too. He got rid of that. I'm saying all this to say this. If you're disciplined in your savings, I applaud you. If you have some challenges in saving, all hope is not lost. All hope is not lost. So what I'm saying to you tonight is, if you save your money in a bank or online bank, or some people do Robinhood. I have a client who do Robinhood, and some people have mutual funds and all of those things. So I have a concept for you. Some people put monies in CDs. You know what a CD is? A CD is a certificate of deposit in a bank. When I was a young banker, we used to do that for clients all the time. When I worked at Bank of America and all the other banks I worked at, Brookline Savings Bank, all the other banks I worked in back in the day, back in the 80s, 90s, or whatever. So a CD, how it works, it could be for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, 18 months, 2 years. They even had 5 years. Even they used to have back in there something called jumbo CDs. And a jumbo CD was a CD with a high balance. So they would give him a little higher rate. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. Some of you are not going to believe me, but it's true. When I was a young banker back in 85, 86, back in the 80s, right? People had CDs coming due. And it was like 22% interest rate, 30% interest rate, 25% interest rate on CDs. So back then, CDs was a good investment. The only thing about the CD is you don't have access to your money. You do not have access to your money. You do not have liquidity or control of your money. Access, liquidity, or you can say access, control, and liquidity, if you want to put in alphabetical order. You did not, because you couldn't touch that money. If you touched it, they would penalize you the interest that you accrued. That's what they would do on that CD, right? They would penalize you the interest that you accrued. Now, but if you were getting back then, because people have some of those accounts were open like in the 70s or in the earlier 80s, whatever, people were getting 22, 25%. 30, I saw it, 20. I was like, wow. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, wow. But today, there are people still doing CDs at the bank and money market accounts and high yield savings accounts. I'm going to teach you something tonight. The only thing a bank is good for, only thing, a mortgage, a car loan, equity line of credit, some personal loans. You could probably do a little better in the credit unions or finance company, probably. Start over. Mortgage, equity line of credit, car loan, personal loan, maybe even for student loans, but a lot of people borrow from the federal government. That's what a bank is for. Banks don't give you anything on your savings. You have a savings account, you got 0.1 or up to 0.25%. A high interest account might give you 1-2%. Well, I don't know, a high yield account, or if you put a certain amount of money. And those big banks like the I'm going to call them out: JP Morgan Chase, Citibank, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Santander, all those big banks, Citizens Bank, they make a killing with fractional reserve. So you're like, what's that? If you deposit $10,000 in the bank today, they lend out about 9,000 or 9,500 of that money to John Doe, Jane Doe for the car loan, the mortgage. So it's an aggregate of all their depositors' amounts of money. So basically, they take your money, put it in a bank. You don't need no ID. Well, nowadays, some banks are asking you for ID to make deposits, which is ridiculous. But I'm saying you put the money in the bank. So you go there tomorrow and you want to take out, you ask them for a loan. What the interest that they're paying you, that's not what they're going to charge you for a loan, even if you have excellent credit. Some people I know, I have some clients who have mortgages at 2%, some are 3, some 4, some are 5. It depends on your credit, your income stuff, 1 point something. But the bank does not give you the interest of what you are paying to them in interest charges on your different kind of loans that I talked about. But guess what? The bank knows that. The bank is a business, and that's how they make their money. That's what they do. Good evening, my big sister Eva. Good to see you. That's what the banks do. So you don't know any better. And so you take your money, your 10,000, your 25,000, your 50,000. I had clients. I had a client who had like a $200,000 in the bank in an account. And this client, whenever, sometimes I send on my podcast, whenever a checking account go into $70,000, she would panic. I'm like, my checking account got like $200 in it. That's what he got in it. $206, I think, or 260. I just checked it. What I'm saying to you guys is this. What I'm saying to you, never save your nest egg in a bank or even an online bank. Now, you need savings for a rainy day. Financial literacy and financial advisors will tell you should have 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved in an account. I say 6 to 12 months. I have a friend who's from Dominica, friend of the show, who told me they have saved 24 months in the bank for an emergency. Now, that's a little excessive, but that's what they did. And the person has a finance degree. So I'm thinking that person reached out to me last year about doing something, and I need to reach back out to that individual again and show them a different concept of what they could do. The reason why you don't save your money in the bank is you get chicken feed. And if you put it in CDs, you lose access, control, and liquidity for a period of time. And some people who are wise have a credit card, and they use their credit card for everything to get points. Gas, restaurants. Some people pay their bills with it. Some people pay their mortgage and everything with it. But at the end of the month, they pay it off in full. So they never pay any finance charges. But everybody ain't that disciplined. I'm looking at mines now. I'm going to pay them off this week. So I have to pay no finance charges because the deadline is the 26th of this month and the 3rd of next month. So I'm going to do that. My point I'm making to you guys, if you're not paying it off at the end of, if you use your credit card, I don't recommend you do that. So you say to me, well, you know what, Havis, Terrence, Bardui, Little Boy, Luca Boy, Jean Lapointe, you keep going around and round, round and round the issue. What is the alternative? The alternative is an infinite banking concept where you can put a single premium into an account. You have liquidity, access, and control. As a matter of fact, some of you are saving some of that money for your children or your grandchildren or your spouse or your side piece, your boo, your bae, or whomever. And if that's the case, why would you want to give them money that may be taxed, maybe not maybe will be taxed and maybe hold up in probate, because a lot of you all ain't got a revocable living trust. The people who are watching on my show right now, you don't have to give your business out. Do you have a revocable living trust right now? You all got wills. A will can be contested. So you die, and you know what? It goes to probate. I have a cousin who died in Boston. Right now he's a state, we all give permission to my sister, to handle it up in Boston. But my point is, why would you do that if you have assets that you can protect? You got a home, you got bank accounts, you got this, a car, you got all of these different assets, right? But you're not putting it in a revocable living trust because you don't know how to do it or you haven't heard about it. And you don't have to be wealthy to do those things. You can use the strategies of the wealthy in order to put your affairs in perfect harmony while you're alive. You be the executor of that estate, and you have a successor executor. So if God forbid something happens to you, if you're incapacitated, or if God forbid life happens, that person will be the executor, and they will take what the trust says is how it works. That's how you pass property to your husband, your wife, your siblings. A lot of you all are not doing that. So what I'm saying to you, I'm not mad at you. What I'm saying to you is, it's the same thing you're doing with your money. So if you have 25,000, 50,000, 100,000, up 500,000 in an account in a bank, why? I'm going to show you how you can put that in an account, and God forbid something happens to you, your family going to get all that plus more tax-free. Now, not everybody got that kind of money, and it's okay. If you don't have that kind of money, you do a traditional plan where you put a strategy in place and you fund it monthly. Some people, I recommend when you get paid, the first thing you do is you return a tithe and an offering at your church. Second thing you do, you pay yourself. And then you pay everybody else. Mortgage, credit cards, car loan, bike loan, this, your manicure, your pedicure, your this, your that, your whatever. That's what you have to do. Okay, Melinda will talk, and Melinda, I'll give you a little hint. Like some of the people that you told me about that you knew of the Jewish persuasion, they probably have one. And you can get it from an attorney. It could cost you anywhere between $1,000 to $5,000 to put the proper one in place. But don't worry about the cost. Worry about how you protect it like the wealthy and transfer wealth, because you get to control that. As a matter of fact, you can have a life insurance policy that's owned by the trust. Your car can be owned by a trust. Your doggone condo, your home can be owned by the trust. Everything that you own, mutual funds, stocks, bonds. So God forbid something happens to you, because if you own a house and then you die and you have kids and you pass it over to them, there's going to be capital gains that they have to pay because you did not structure it properly to pass down wealth. You see, wealthy people, they pass down stuff from generation to generation to generation. Even some of the wealthy people don't like some of their family members, they still keep it in the family. You may have a beef with one of your family members, but you don't have a beef with all of them, do you? And that's a beef with some family members. So what I'm saying to you, we talk about life insurance all the time, right? But I don't call it life insurance, I call it love insurance. And it's called a poor man's trust. That's what life insurance is. Because God forbid you die, the money goes directly to your beneficiary. It avoids probate. If you have a will and you die, your property is going to go to the probate. The city, the county, wherever you are, they're going to get their share. The government, in this, the that. So learn how to avoid that. You could talk to an estate planning attorney. Some people who are senior, they have senior care attorneys. There's different companies out there that do it, but do your research. Let me say this. I mean this respectfully. I don't actually do that. There's a company I know of, but I'm actually one of my clients in Charlotte. Her house is paid for, her cars are paid for. She has a whole bunch of money in the bank, and basically she put some of that in annuities as well, and even some in life insurance that she canceled. But the thing about it is, she eventually created a trust because her son died unexpectedly, and he had a revocable living trust, and that way property was able to pass down very easily. So what you do is, a lot of people do not know why they should do this. So for those of you who own property, even if you don't own property, some people live in they rent an apartment or a condo, but you have a lot of money. You're a high income earner. You're putting it in a bank for what? And even if it's in a bank, make sure the registration is correct. I got a transfer on death. Yeah, you got a transfer on death on there, but a transfer on death is not probate, because let me tell you something. You say you have a will. If that's all you got, when you die, someone could say, Melinda was my boo, and she told me when she died, I'm going to get $50,000, and she told me I can get this house. No. You can contest the will, but you can't contest that. That's why wealthy people, that's what they do. They pass wealth down using the strategies that the IRS have created so that people can do things. So you don't have to be wealthy. Wealthy to you could be whatever you have is your wealth. So know how to procure that and put it in place. I wanted to do an illustration, but I'm not going to do it. Because if you want to see that illustration, get on my calendar and I will show you. So for example, you might put $50,000 in an account. right? Into the concept that I'm talking about. And then, God forbid you die next week, your family get like about 117, $130,000 ballpark, wherever, tax free. But guess what? You lived. You have access to about 90 to 95% of that money immediately because your savings, when you go in your savings, and I teach this to people, Melinda knows that because we had an appointment, we talked about that. When you interrupt compounding, you're hurting yourself. You have a spender, a debtor, and a saver. A debtor pays interest, and a saver loses interest. So, in other words, if you have an account, you have 10,000, you took 5,000 to buy a washer and dryer. So now you only have 5,000. So instead of earning interest on 10,000, you earn interest on $5,000. You've interrupted the compounding. So when you get back to 10,000, it should be 15,000. So you can take a lump sum of money, put it into an infinite banking concept, a single premium, then you have access to 90% of that in 30 days, right? And then what you could do, guess what? You never use your money. All those people, James Dolan, I'm going to pick up Melinda, who owns the New York Knicks. Whenever the guys are building stadiums and stuff like that, they don't be using their money. They always use taxpayers' money. That's why some teams move. They move because they want some of the tax breaks that they are getting from the county, the city, the state, wherever. But you can use those same concepts as well. So anybody who has between $25,000 to $500,000 in the bank right now, in a checking account, a savings account, a CD, need to talk to me immediately. Immediately. Because you're not strategically using right strategies for your money. You're being pimped by the bank. If the bank is the pimp, what does that make you? I ain't gonna say it. I don't want to get in trouble with nobody. But the bank is pimping you. Someone said to me, "Oh, you can't use the word pimp." I pimp Facebook. You're like, what do you mean? I use it to get my message across. And Instagram and LinkedIn and YouTube and X. I use all the different platforms in other. Some of you guys have a lot of money saved, and a lot of you don't have the right strategies in place. And guess what? You're losing money. Or you don't have the strategies in place. Don't be ashamed. Get it done. Welcome to June Bardui, my big sister. How you doing? Bardui Anselm, all the way in Boston, watching on Instagram. And everybody else is watching on different platforms. Welcome. Folks, take the money in the bank that you have, get a better return, have access to it, liquidity and control. Don't put no money in no CDs and in savings accounts. You can have a little savings account if you want with $1,000 in it, whatever. You can do that. I wouldn't even do that. We can do that. I have a savings account at Capital One. I'm going to tell you guys how much money is in it. I just have the account. In that account, I want to tell you guys how much is in that capital. It's probably less than 5 cents. Let me see. Where's Capital One on my apps? I'm going to tell you. I have a savings account at Capital One. I'm going to tell you how much money is in it. What? I was correct. 51 cents is in there. No, sometimes I may put money in there to do something, a transaction to do something, but I'm not saving in there. Some of you got too much money in concept that doesn't benefit you. Someone says right here, if you have multiple businesses, try Noni Accounting. Need your feedback, whatever that is. I don't know. where someone's watching on YouTube. Um, on my shows, you can come and comment, but um, you're not giving advice on my show. So I don't know what that really saying, but I'll try to understand what they're trying to say here. Folks, the key is this. I don't give tax advice. I'm not a CPA. I'm not an accountant. I know strategies. And if someone is an accountant or a CPA, I can, I want to partner with people like that to do what I do. So we can show them, if you want to do executive bonus plans for small business owners, how they can, I don't want to say avoid, how they can do it on a tax favored basis. You see, the difference between tax free and tax deferred is simple. Tax deferred, you're delaying taxes and you don't know what taxes you're going to pay because you know what tax rate you're going to be in the future. But tax free means you never pay taxes. And there are strategies you can use to do that. There are strategies you can use to do that. So basically, last night we had, a great training by one of my colleagues, and she talked about. Let me give you some of the pointers that she gave at the end last night. She said, let me just double check it right here. She says, ask questions that uncover the job the money's supposed to perform. So my question to each of you, what job is your money supposed to be performing? What job? And you're like, what do you mean, H? What do you mean, Havis? What do you mean, Terrence? What do you mean, Mr. Badui? What do you mean, little boy? What do you mean, Luku boy? I'm going to tell you. I'm asking you again, what job is your money supposed to perform? Is it gain interest? I don't know. Is it sit there and look silly? Earn nothing? I don't know. I don't know. Folks, what we can do is, for those of you who want more information on what I'm talking about, you can see my information scrolling at the bottom of the screen, just like CNN. My name is there, my office number, my cell phone number. Always try my cell phone because you have access to me 24/7. You can give anybody my phone number. Anybody. Except the Popo. But I haven't done anything for the Popo to get my number. You know what I'm saying? But that was a joke. You can give it to anybody. And my point is, I can show you some of the strategies. I was going to do an illustration, but I'm not doing that. All I want to do is to teach you concepts and talk about the concepts. And you want to know more. You know what? You guys research phones, cars, houses, vacation spots, hairdos, restaurants, salons, concerts, sports teams. Invest in your financial literacy. Invest in your financial literacy. You might say, man, this guy, sometimes he's making sense, but sometimes he's talking gibberish. I'm not talking gibberish. Folks, use the strategies of the wealthy. You remember all those banks I mentioned? Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Truist, Citizens Bank, JP Morgan Chase, Citibank. I just went on my account, right? And I said, let me see what do they have for Capital One. I don't care where you bank. They all are using the strategy that I'm talking about tonight. And the reason why they use that strategy, because guess what? Life happens and you can access it on a tax-favored basis. Sometimes one of the things that ticks me off about what I do, and I love what I do, what ticks me off sometimes is that I educate for free. It doesn't cost you. All it costs you to watch Chooses with Terrence is your time. You spend more time watching Netflix and chill with a boo who don't even like you. Oh, whatever. You all go to games, movies, plays. Nothing is wrong with that. Enjoy all those things. But those things does not help you. You need an outlet. There's multiple forms of outletting. That's true. But how about the outlet that's going to solidify your financial future? So tonight, what I want you to do is ask yourself this question: what job does my money supposed to perform? So if you have money sitting in a CD, a savings account that you're primarily keeping it to keep it safe, yeah, it's FDIC insured up to 250,000 per registration. But guess what? Are you maximizing the best for your money? Or you have monies in a CD, you have no control over that CD, you have no liquidity and no access until it's due. I just did one for a client, one of my clients in New Jersey. They had multiple CDs. And when it came due, we put in a different strategy for them. You can put some of it in tax deferred strategies. You can put it in tax free strategies or tax favored strategies. It's out there. You want to know more about it? Choose this with Terrence. I don't have enough time to go over everything with everybody. Man, I can't give you personal advice on the show because I don't know. I would have to ask your personal business and everybody would know. Just like my client a little while ago who called me at the beginning of the show. The reason why I paused the show, she was in a FedEx place and she needed the address. I had already given it to her, but she needed the address to where to send the money to. What I'm saying to you is simply this: don't let somebody or anybody or something steal your literacy of how the trajectory of your mind works to protect what you work so hard for. Your nest egg, right? I protect nest eggs. I show you how to have access to nest eggs. And some of you, especially if you're single, you need some of these concepts because there's living benefits in case you get sick. If you get sick, who's going to take care of you? Well, I got a sister or a brother. Does that sister or brother got kids or a husband or a wife? Do they have a home? Do they something else to take care of? People will tell you anything until when the rubber meets the road. When the rubber meets the road, then you can't find Tom, Dick, or Harry, or brother, sister, or child. Now, some children will say, man, some of your children are going to shove you in a nursing home. And when you die, and they have their own house, they're gonna sell your house and get the money. You can prevent that if you want to. You can create. I have a neighbor up the street. He died maybe last year or this year. I don't see him anymore. The way he set up his trust, that house can never be sold. It's paid for. It's going to be a family house for generations to come. It can be rented or whatever, but it can never be sold. Your kids don't want your clothes. They don't want your house. They want the money. The guy who say he loves you so much, he wants the money. The woman who says she loves you so much, she wants the money. Your siblings, your kids, you all think you are the best parents and the best kids and the best this and the best boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife. Die with some assets and you'll see what will happen. You won't see it because you won't be around. They're going to clean house. They're going to clean out your crap, throw crap, stuff that you treasure. You may treasure this bottle, someone will throw it away. You may treasure the speaker, Some will put it a goodwill. So make sure your money does what it's supposed to do. That is not in a bank. Make your dollars have multiple jobs. Make your money have money babies. If it's in the bank, it's not making money babies. And if it makes any babies in the bank, they're retarded. You like, don't use that word retarded. No, they have a defect. They're deformed, a different ability. You want your money to be healthy and working. Use your bank with a checking account to pay your bills, your utilities, your gas, your light, your water, your insurance. Nowadays, you can do all these things online. But don't use a bank to save. So for those of you who have money in savings accounts, and you know, I will go as low as 25,000. If you have, a lot of my clients, they like 100,000 and above. You have 25,000. Let me show you what we can do. You have 50,000 just sitting there, protect in a CD or in a bank account for a rainy day. You can use it for a rainy day. You'll have access to it. You ain't got no CD, you have access to it the same month. Let me show you. And listen to me as we close. It's 7:59. These strategies, right? The wealthy use it. Your bank use it. Guess what? They will never tell you. You know why they don't want to tell you? You think 1%ers are going to tell you what they're really doing? All they want you to do is be a slave for them. So be like the wealthy. Use the strategies of the wealthy to protect your hard-earned savings. Some of you, your problem is not that you can't save. Some of you, your problem is that you have a spending problem. Money's scared of you. As soon as it sees you, it leaves. It runs from you because you're just ready to. You don't have to I have a client. That client I was talking about in Charlotte. I said, "Man, you're thrifty." She said, "No, I'm not thrifty, Terrence. I'm cheap." I have a client in Philly. I said, "Man, you're thrifty, such and such." She called me last week. She said, "No, Terrence, I'm cheap. When I go to the supermarket, I'm going with coupons." This lady, tomorrow she gets up. She can make a call and have access to over $1 million in a day, cash, liquid, because she used some of these concepts that I talk about. Folks, don't think about the big picture. Think about your picture. Your picture is all that matters. I don't care what you have. Your savings is your nest egg. Don't let anyone tell you what you have is not enough. You have money in a bank, in a CD, in a savings account, in a checking account, a mutual fund, stocks, bonds, Acorn, Robinhood, Charles Schwab. This client will call me tonight at the beginning of the show. She had a small little Fidelity account where she put like $2,500 in it. It's gone up to like $2,900. She says, I want to dump it into one of my IOLs. I said, no, keep it there. It's $2,500. It was 250,000, 25,000, 100,000. I'm like, nah, let's move that bad boy. It's $2,500. I don't mind if you lose $2,500. I don't want you to lose $2,500. But if you lose $2,500, it's okay. But I don't want you to lose 25,000, and I don't want you to have 25,000. You're getting chicken feed. I want you to have liquidity, access, control. I want you to have guarantees. I want it to make money babies for you. And I also want it to, if God forbid something happens to you, your family can get it tax-free. Your bank savings accounts don't do that. Your CD don't do that. Your stocks, your bonds, your mutual funds, the 401k, all those stuff, they don't do that. You want to know more? My name is H. Terrence Bardui. The show is called Tuesdays with Terrence. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence. Some people call me Mr. Bardui. Some people call me Little Boy. If you're from the 767, Whitey Kubuli, the Commonwealth of Dominica, tall is her body. And you're from St. Luke's Parish, a.k.a. Point Michelle, a.k.a. La Pointe. You call me Little Boy or Luku Boy. Dominica made me. Boston raised me. Now the South sustains me. Folks, I just did a rollover for a client. Some of you have some money in your retirement accounts. I guarantee you, if you were like my client, right? I love that woman. And you allowed me to call with you and talk to your, whether it's your benefits department or whether if it's your, wherever your money's invested. I bet you have access to some of that money today that you can protect. But you got to reach out to me. I ain't forcing you to do nothing. And that girl, she's not a girl, she's a grown woman. She trusts me explicitly. And I bend over backwards for my clients. So tonight, as we depart from each other, as I go my way and you go your way, and you go to bed and I go to bed, you know, we'll see what happens. Junie, my big sister's watching. I'm coming up the road, on vacation. Sandy's birthday is Thursday, but either not even this week or either next week. We may or may not see you because we'll be all in New England. So we're in the Boston area. We're definitely going to stop by. We're going to do some different things like Martha's Vineyard and Newport like we did last year. Probably I don't know, might go up to Maine or something. Do different things while the weather's nice. So again, for those of you who watch my show tonight, you want to know more about this concept that I just talked about, where you can put money that you're saving into a concept that you can access it. You have liquidity, control, and access to that money. It'll be protected, and God forbid something happen to your family, get it tax-free, but you have access to it as well. Let's have a conversation. If your money's not making money, babies, and if you have money earmarked for children, grandchildren, when you're gone, let's make it more than what it is right now. Let's make it more than what it is right now. The strategies are out there, and I am the guy to help you with that. The time has come and gone. I went a couple minutes over.
Virus alert scammer.
Thank you for watching. One of someone said inspiring session. Thank you, my brother. It's my pleasure. Pretty soon I'll have you on as a guest on my show. I still want to come on. What's that? I don't know what that means. That's a personal text somebody sent me. I still want to come on. I don't know what that means. I'll have to check it out. So as we close for the night, and you go to bed tonight and you say your prayers, ask God to open your heart and your mind so you can make different decisions towards the trajectory of your financial literacy. There's strategies out there you can use that's going to benefit you. But because you don't know what it is, sit down with me and let's talk about it. You don't have to, whatever you don't want to do, you don't have to do. There's people I sit with all the time, they don't make any decisions. I'm not mad at them. That's their choice. I wish they would, but let's talk about even some of you who have some monies in the markets. It's 401ks, 403bs, 457 TSPs. Let's find out if we can move some of that money for you to protect your nest egg, a portion of your nest egg. So if markets do some crazy stuff with who are you all voted in there, some of your money is protected. An egg is fragile. Let's protect, let the nest keep it safe. And that's what I do. I'm the safe money guy. You will never, ever lose a penny with me with the strategies that I teach, I implement, and my clients do. So on that note, as we close, I went 6 minutes over. We're going to play our theme song. And I just want to tell you, hasta la vista, babies. Hasta la vista, babies. Let me see if it'll play. All right, let's go. There we go. Wait a minute. My song's not going to play? What's up with that? What you doing to me, man? No theme song tonight for me? No theme song? There we go. Let's see if it'll work. It won't work? I'm going to find it. We're going to end with my theme song. Ain't nobody stealing my joy. We're going to end with my theme song. We're going to end with my theme song. Dominica made me. Boston raised me. The South sustains me. But we're going to make sure we get my theme song. I'm pulling it up again because it got off the doggone the grid. We're going to do that because I'm going to sing for you. And you all know I can't sing a lick. And that's just to show you I have no I have no shame in my game. I'll sing for you, to get you to laugh and say, this guy, he really is passionate about what he does. All righty, here we go. Good night, everybody. God bless you. Like and share. Bye-bye. Boom, I'm out. Woo!
Dominica made me, that's where it all began. Island breeze, coconut trees, the heart of my plan. From the hills and the smiles to the songs of the sea, that island spirit molded the person I'd be.
Good night.
Woo! Boston raised me with its hustle and grind. City lights shining, dreams intertwined. In the heart of this town, I found my way.
Boston, Massachusetts.
A licensed financial pro, ready for the fray.
Boom.
On the
snow. Man, why did the song do that to me, man? This guy's calling me, man. We gotta decline that call, man. You can't be calling me while we play that music, man.
Let's start it over. Start it over. Start it over.
There we go.
Let's start it over. Let's start it over, man. I didn't like the intro. There we go. Woo! Welcome to the street.
There we go. There we go. People calling me, man. Don't call me. It's Tuesdays with Terrence. Actually, it's after Tuesdays with Terrence. That's why they're calling me.
Dominica made me. That's where it all began. Island breeze, coconut trees, the heart of my plan. From the hills and the smiles to the songs of the sea, that island spirit molded the person I'd be. Boston raised me with its hustle and grind. City lights shining, dreams intertwined. In the heart of this town, I found my way. A licensed financial pro, ready for the fray. On those snowy streets, learn to stand tall, navigating life, every rise, every fall. From the commons to the brownstones, I made my claim. With every lesson learned, I embraced my name. Boston raised me with its hustle and grind. City lights shining, dreams intertwined. In the heart of this town, I found my way. A licensed financial pro, ready for the fray.
Good night, everybody. God bless you. Hasta la vista. Hasta la vista.
Now the South sustains me with its warm embrace, a community of strength and love in every space. From the bayous to the beaches, I found my place. In this journey of finance, I've learned to chase grace. Dominica made
Those are strong lyrics. Written by yours truly.
The South sustains my soul as I reach for the sky. With every sunrise, I'm thankful and free. A licensed financial pro, just being me.
Outro.
So here's to the roots that shaped who I am. From Dominica's beauty to Boston's Grand Slam. In the South I stand strong with purpose and pride. Together with my journey, side by side.
Good night, everybody. God bless you. And if you have money in your 401k today, you lost money because the Dow was down, the NASDAQ was down, the S&P was down. Everything was down. And all of my clients, they lost zero. That's what I do. I'm the safe money guy. I'm out. Hasta la vista, babies. God bless you. Until next Tuesday, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.